Welcome everyone to this special podcast edition. And we're live here in Dubai. My name is Sabine and I am a major account manager in Palo Alto Networks. And I am with my co-host, my colleague Selin.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here, and we have very special guest here today with us, Phil Lea. He's a Privacy and Cybersecurity VP at the Landmark Digital, which is one of the leading retail organizations in Dubai.
Hey, good day.
Good day, Phil. So exactly, Selin. So because in retail, the action never stops and you have lots of branches, lots of warehouses. So I always wonder how retail customers like Landmark can protect their environment using security solutions. So mainly the podcast today is about how to secure the retail sector and especially what Landmark is doing to secure it.
Sure. Thank you so much for joining. Then let's get started.
Sure. So to start off, can you share a bit about your cybersecurity priorities as a leading retail organization? And what are the challenges you were trying to solve when adopting our Cortex XDR solution?
Okay. The most important thing for me in cybersecurity is to ensure that our systems are resilient, that we're able to recover at any point in time. And so our focus has, for the last few years, been on ensuring that we know how our systems are built and how we can recover them quickly should the worst happen. Obviously, my job is to ensure that the time that we experience an event, we can recover quickly, but also to reduce the number of occurrences that we might have. And that's where it comes, the relationship with Palo Alto and the solutions that we buy to help prevent bad things from happening.
Thanks, Phil. During the evaluation process, what were the key pain points that you want to resolve? And how Cortex XDR was able to support these and solve these problems for you?
We've been running for many years on a technology environment, and that technology environment evolves. One of the major changes that we've made over the last 18 months has been in our retail point of sale system and also in our e-commerce platform, moving from traditional monolithic cloud-based services to microservices in the cloud. And we needed to therefore choose a new technology that would help us to protect those microservices.
And Phil, speaking of these e-commerce platform and the tools that you have, how do you think Cortex XDR helped you gain visibility across the different solutions that you have?
So the e-commerce platform is one part of our business, and we were historically using another tool which gave us an element of visibility into our security challenges. It gave us an element of visibility into our monitoring requirements. But I wanted to do more. I always want to do more. I've got a team, I've got a managed service provider. I want to give them the best possible information so that we as an organization can respond effectively. So just from the e-commerce perspective, implementing a new XDR product gave us additional signals, additional parts of telemetry that we can use to help to understand when we're under attack or when there is something that we need to protect against.
And let's talk about results. During or after POV, what improvements have you seen in terms of the reduction in false positives or securing the posture of your environment? Can you give us a couple of examples about your improvements?
False positives wasn't necessarily an issue for me historically. What I would like to say is that I get a much better, a much richer level of telemetry, a much richer level of data that I can use to understand how our systems are interacting with other systems. That's why I wanted to go down the XDR journey, to understand whether systems are communicating as we're expected up to. The technology that we now have in place has helped us to drive that capability, as well as giving us the ability to instantly respond and to instantly do the instant response should we come under attack that isn't protected elsewhere in our ecosystem.
And Phil, speaking of Palo Alto, you're not only a Cortex XD, you're not only using the Cortex XDR, you have several other solutions from Palo Alto Networks. But how do you think this integration with Cortex XDR, considering, let's say, for example, you have our firewall for ingesting the logs in it, how do you think this integration helped you with your overall security posture?
I'm trying to consolidate the number of suppliers that I have. I'm trying to ensure that I'm not duplicating one cybersecurity control with another that's provided in a slightly different capability. So if I can consolidate my vendor platform, if I can consolidate the number of partners that I'm working with, I want to ensure that they are, working as effectively together as they can. So my XDR platform has to talk to my firewall platform. So that makes a natural choice between our established next-gen firewalls and the new XDR capability. But also I have to make sure that everything that I buy integrates with everything else. And part of the reason for going through our selection process on an XDR product was to look at how it would interact not just with our identity management or with our monitoring platform, but also with the platform that we use to control access to resources. It was very important that I supplement or augment the technologies that I already have in place that we know work, that we know we have the ability to manage.
AI and advanced analytics are very critical right now in the modern security. So I want to ask to you, how important were these and how strong these capabilities while you were deciding to going with Cortex XDR?
Everything I do has to have some level of AI involved in it. At Landmark Digital, we are AI forwards. We are implementing it across all of our product and design development activities within Landmark Digital. We want to ensure that we are making the most of the technology. And from a security perspective, that's easy because literally everything comes with a little badge on it saying AI enabled. But genuinely from the XDR perspective, what I'm able to see is some intelligent reasoning that I probably could get from my human resources, but it's much easier, much quicker to take the outputs coming from Cortex, coming from the XDR platform. And I want to evolve that and build it into our own large language models so that we can understand how the specific items that we're seeing out of the Cortex platform can then be translated into meaningful data and analytics that we can actually use elsewhere in our technology. But that's still to come.
Yeah. So, Phil, we have delivered a POC for you. And during this evaluation process, what was the aha moment for Landmark and for Phil where you decided that definitely Cortex is the right solution to implement?
Okay, moving away from a legacy antivirus platform to an XDR platform was my number one
Driver.
My expectation is to move us into the 21st century, into technology that tells us what might be happening rather than just working based on things that, we think this is something that we've seen before. So the aha moment for me was really when I discovered that everything that we had previously been doing with 3 or 4 different tool capabilities, I could do just in one tool, and that I could use that as a central place for managing capabilities within the endpoint, managing capabilities within incident response, and just the sheer amount of integration that I can do from one platform. That was the real key takeaway for me from our evaluation.
So you've always wanted to consolidate.
I mean, it's always at the forefront of my mind. It's the best way to demonstrate value to the organization because I'm including less vendors, but I also have less need for different support skills. But fundamentally, I want to be able to deal with partners, whether that's vendors, whether that's resellers, whether that's suppliers. They all are people that I want to work with, and I want to work with ones who understand as much as possible about what Landmark does. Because if they understand what Landmark does, if they understand more of our technology set, then they can better understand our problems and help us to solve those problems, knowing what else we've got in our landscape, but also to help us to transform, help us to mature our capability.
Let's talk about collaboration. how did Palo Alto support you during the evaluation process and or during the purchase journey? And anything stood out about the engagement with Palo Alto Networks?
The engagement from this team has been amazing. I always say that I want to work in a partnership model with whether it is my primary vendor or whether it is with a support vendor. I truly believe that we have a partnership. I truly believe that the support that we are going to need will be at the front of my major account manager's mind. I truly believe that from a product perspective, I can get everything that I need about Cortex from the team. Fundamentally, we succeed when you succeed. So it's in my interest to involve the account team as early and as often I can in the proof of concept and proof of value.
From a leadership perspective, how do you communicate Cortex XDR to the non-technical or to environment, non-technical personas?
So I break it down. XDR, extended detection and response. That's how I treat it. I want to make sure that non-technical people understand that this is what we have been doing historically. This is what this will enable us to do. And I can talk in terms of the, let's call it the cost to support or the cost of an incident. If I can detect things at machine speed, if I can respond to things at machine speed, then I can demonstrate how quickly we are able to respond to what could be a $200 million event if we were to suffer, let's call it a critical cybersecurity event. So if I break it down into how well we're able to detect and how well we're able to respond and show the reduction in time and the reduction in human hours that we need to spend on those activities, those human hours can be spent on, let's call it more meaningful activities that help us to drive even further forward, while at the same time protecting the revenue, protecting the business, protecting the availability.
Yeah. And for the retailers and the CISOs, mainly in UAE, what advice would you give them when adopting or when deciding to adopt our Cortex XDR solution?
Take a look at what it is you're trying to do. Take a look at whether you have the same problems we do, which is a growing e-commerce platform and a hugely successful retail operation. What are the types of data that you are trying to protect? Is it payment data? Is it your customer data? And do you have the right tooling in place to understand whether you are compromised or whether you are subject to being compromised and how quickly you would respond? I genuinely believe that the exercise that we went through to evaluate our capability gave me the confidence to select a product based on the ability to respond.
So at Palo Alto Network, we want our customer to think that we're not only a vendor or a product company, but we want them to consider us as a cybersecurity partner. Do you think from your own experience that it is true?
And looking ahead, can you see Palo Alto Networks is going to be part of your digital transformation as the modern technology evolves further?
Okay, great question. The experience that I've had in getting to where we are has taken 18 months. And in those 18 months, I've worked with whether they're technical people, whether they're CEOs within Palo Alto. I've worked across the spectrum to help us to drive what looks like our future detection and response capability. That support has been awesome. And I'm hoping that that support is part of the reason why we work so well together, because we truly understand what we can get out of Palo Alto. And I truly believe that Palo Alto understands more about us as a retailer than 18 months ago. Would you be part of my future? Yes, absolutely, 100%. I have to work with people who understand our business. I have to work with teams that are committed to what we do. And as part of this transformation that we are going through, I will always be looking at the most appropriate solution to fit into my overall cybersecurity landscape. That won't necessarily always mean that I work with Palo Alto on specific products. I will always select products based on capabilities, based on usability, based on the use cases that we have. But for the particular implementation that we went through very recently on the Cortex platform, we were able to cover all of the appropriate use cases. We were able to cover commercials, and we were able to demonstrate working with a great partner who can operate at scale in this really important region.
Thank you, Phil. And if you want to describe our partnership in one word, what would it be? And why?
You've already said it. It's partner. You are a partner to me. Both of you, the whole organization, is a genuine partner for Landmark Group.
Okay.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you so much for the fantastic insights. And thank you for sharing your journey, how Cortex has helped you, and how we were able to support you during this important and dynamic retail environment in our region. Thanks for the great insights.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Phil. And it's really inspiring to see leaders like yourself in the leading retail customers in UAE driving business. Not only the purpose is not only to drive business, but also to protect it and to secure it.
Thank you, Spirit. To our listeners, thank you so much for joining this special podcast. Until next time, stay secure.